Welcome back to the Dragon's Lair, everybody. My name is Wade, and this is my show. Sometimes I guess this is for what I watch, where I talk about movies, but also during the month of May, I'm also talking about Mortal Kombat because I wanted to do that, and we got a new movie. So, anyways, might go into both playlists. Who knows? So we're talking about Mortal Kombat 2, which just came out. It's only been out for like 5 days now. So this is the Tuesday after it came out. Mortal Kombat 2. It's rated R for good reason. Runtime an hour and 56 minutes. So you're in there for 2 hours. A little bit over because of trailers, I guess. It currently has no end credit scene or mid credit scene, just so you know. It's only been out for like 5 days. So over the weekend, it made $40 million, which that's worldwide. No Mortal Kombat movie has ever made that much on an opening weekend, so it's already got that. And good news, it took only $80 million to make. Now I know that's weird saying only $80 million, right? But here's my point: it made back half of what it took to make on its opening weekend, which I think is a really good sign. I think that's a really good sign. So it's a strong open. Good job, Mortal Kombat. I think there would be some spoilers here, but I'm trying to limit them super hard. It's currently at a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes, if you trust such thing, with an 89% audience score, which means 89% of people liked it. I like the film, and I am a big Mortal Kombat fan. I would say I'm a purist, but I also understand that I can't strictly be a purist and like everything. So, like, I don't know. Like, here's an example. I don't like Cole Young as a character. He was never in any of the games. He's not a game character. They just made him up for the movie. I don't like Cole Young. Anyways. Okay, here's a big warning. 2 of the characters are basically just using the F word all the time. One character uses it like in every sentence, and a different character uses it in every paragraph, if I can relate those 2 things. So there's a lot of F words. There is no sex or nudity. There are some characters that dress more provocatively than others, but there's none of that. There's no romance. There's not a single romance in this entire movie. They're not doing any story between Sonya and Johnny Cage. There is a pretty decent amount of gore. I think my wife and I went back and we had a big conversation about it. And depending on how you count fatalities, there could be 6. There's definitely 6 deaths in the movie. And yeah, that's a thing. Oh, there's more. So there's at least 7. I liked the film. I did. Some of the things that I felt were really cool is Kano was a non-stop torrent of great one-liners in pop culture references, as well as Johnny Cage was a pretty big source of comedy and pop culture references. Kano definitely was just so funny. The guy that plays him and the way that they wrote him, very funny. They started off already with Quan Chi and Shinnok, and they furthered the story because, like, the amulet comes up in the first movie. The amulet is in this movie, and they do more and talk more about Quan Chi and Shinnok. So that's a thing. If you know what that is from the video game, they're 2 characters. So just more of that, and it's very much setting up more of that if you already know what Quan Chi and Shinnok is all about. The action was great. it was very clean. The fighting was awesome. I heard Carl Urban spent a lot of time, working hard to make sure that his fighting was really good, and it shows. Everyone's fighting was really good though, so it's very clean. It was a good martial arts action movie. Overall, the story that was told is a good story. It's a moral, ethical story in the sense that like Katana wants to free her people and depose her, evil stepfather, and Johnny Cage is like trying to find redemption and figure out who he is and prove himself. So it's very much a hero's journey kind of thing. Which makes for a good story. I mean, tons and tons of movies is the hero's journey. So if you understand what that is, it's a method of telling stories with, Act 1, this happens, Act 2, this happens, Act 3, this happens. And you can pretty much apply that to half of the movies ever made. Some of the things that I feel didn't really work out. I feel like they skimped on arenas. So there's like one arena that is as close as we can figure out is like the city square of the capital of Edenia. And they use that like 3 times. There's like 3 fights that take place there. And it's just like, these guys didn't want to build more sets. And there definitely are arenas where the fighting takes place because the tournament happens in this movie that are like straight from the video game. There's a couple from Mortal Kombat 2 that are great, iconic, arenas that everyone who's played 1, 2, and 3 will recognize. There's just good stuff there that's iconic, famous Mortal Kombat stuff. But I feel like if they would have given us 1 or 2 more, it wouldn't have felt like the city square of Edenia, the capital of Edenia, was overused, because I feel like it was overused. Some of the character paths didn't make much sense. Specifically one, I'm trying not to throw out spoilers, but like, what Liu Kang's doing to me doesn't make much sense. And so I really don't want to say what it is, but it just doesn't make much sense. There were some plot holes, in my opinion. Now, you don't come to this movie for the writing. You don't come to this movie for the plot or the storytelling. You come to this movie to see science fiction, fantasy fighters fight in science fiction and fantasy. However, I did really think that the majority of the plot was good. For example, here's in my opinion a plot hole. Somebody is dead and they bring him back because they don't know where something is that he once had. And instead of just searching his pockets, which is where the thing was, they bring him back to life from the netherworld for that. That's just an excuse to bring them back. So in my opinion, that's kind of sloppy writing. It doesn't closely, so that's kind of where my complaints were. It doesn't closely follow the plot of any one game. It's kind of got elements from like 1, 2, 3, and then bringing in the Shinnok and Quan Chi stories. It still tells a good story. I like what they did. They kind of took things and condensed it down to go a direction with it. So I like that. And for Shang Tsung being able to bring back souls and dead people, and for the bad guys having a necromancer, all of the kind of last minute bad guys from the first movie, like Reiko and Cabal, and Melina was not a last minute bad guy, but they all stay dead. None of them come back for the tournament. I did feel like there just wasn't enough fights for the tournament, but whatever. In the end, I really liked it. I know I've talked some smack about it, but in the end, I really liked it, which, if a movie's good points can overwhelm its shortcomings, I think that's a really good thing. So in the end, I enjoyed it, enjoyed telling you about it, and we here at The Dragon's Lair want to say thank you for spending your time with us at The Dragon's Lair.